Dude, I can't believe that Adrian, no way, not cool, and collected Adrian Andrews. She's a manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off. The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See? She could have also easily planted that blood-covered bullet in your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? And dude, you're saying it really was her? Yes, she's the will killer. She's the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about? So you'll see by the time this trial's over. You'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Get me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yes. Miss Andrews depended on Mr. Impact's strength and reason to live. But then Miss Impact suddenly killed herself. It sounds like she left a suicide note and the person thought to have hidden it. Miss Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. Not to get the suicide note back. That sounds plausible. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about their relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues of regards to Miss Impacts. It was Edgeworth. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Hunter, if you please. Prosecution calls the witness upon by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt on guard. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sir. What is it? I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. And would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Gossipland. The judge was never a prosecution witness. He did all my work for me. Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relation to the victim. I'm seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So, fly and bait battle. Was that bait and fly? Reminds me of fishing. I didn't kill him. No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who invented their part. I think we understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews. Very well then, witness. Please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. show would start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. What I saw was actually the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. It felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. You poured yourself a glass of juice? Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix. She is one cool and collected customer, and she has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Disrupt her pacing? She's the type of woman who is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over, understand? Hold it! You were in shock? What? Was I not supposed to be? This is a very calculating person. Anyone when Mr. McClellan dead body would be in shock. You can't seriously expect that young, beautiful beauty like her would not be in shock. Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not. There was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? There were no lip marks left on this wine glass to suggest that anyone drank from it. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Carita, you were in great shock. That's when you poured yourself the glass of juice, correct? And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time. Your mind was a complete blank? I didn't think that was possible for you. Weren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. What's your son to say just now? Miss Andrews! I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was! Actually, so would I. I'm sorry. It's just, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? Dismissive glass shards? It was over on top of the dresser. When I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why didn't you withhold such an important piece of information? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume that the vase was just now part of the mess. It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Objection! You testified that you knocked the flower vase over. And this is correct? Yes? And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there something with what I said? Is there some problem with what I said? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, that was true. The case should not have gone right on the inside, not the outside. That's very true. Furthermore, there's one other strange thing about this guitar case. What is that? Take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. What is wrong with that? The guitar case was open when the vase fell. The glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. Objection! What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? Objection! No. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else. Yes, that's right. She did imply, physically say, she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter of the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all. That may very well be. However, Mr. Wright, you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? Empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece of the puzzle. Ha! Can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you. I don't do this either. Alright, I'll follow along. For now. Mr. Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember it too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. Not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. It looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling right now that it's almost comforting. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using any way to change the topic, a convenient escape for a weak man. Objection! There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case are those of the victim. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume that I must have left Princess because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? Gloves? Why would you be wearing gloves at the time? It was an after-award ceremony. Of course, I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I saw I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Mr. Wright, it seems like you should wear gloves at the scene of the crime. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange? Why is that strange? Do you have something that can prove I was not wearing gloves at the time? Take that! I have your proof right here. This wine glass. The wine glass. You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, would you think it was just a little strange? That you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case? Ah! Order, order, order! Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all of your presumptions. What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar. Wait, that's not right either. I mean, it would be unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case... Objection! Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lure us on to his misguidance. Now, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it is wide open in this photo of the crime scene. I'm sure this guitar case had some relation to the murder. Objection! You're so sure, right? And I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please, enlighten us to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in that case. The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest that black... So, you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty. Is that it, Wright? I wouldn't say something I don't intend to prove. Right that head of yours, you haven't proven anything yet. Now, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder? Take that! This is a photograph. Yes, but what's the point is what is in that picture, Your Honor? In this picture? It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is that the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself. What? Are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to do something like that? Wear the costume, Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you can't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigation photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And at the end, he managed to get this shot, correct? You mean This photo? Order! Order! Looks like we're wandering into quite another mess again, haven't we? Stop feeding. You know my strategy. Speak first, think later. So the real model was hiding inside a costume. Objection! Wait a second, Your Honor. Nicholas Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Ungod's. Why, what's up with the defendant being a victim's room? Inside the guitar case of all places. It's a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nicholas Samurai costume room inside the guitar case? Mr. Unga did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we were talking about was a spare one. What? And are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nicholas Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel? Yes, that is what I'm saying. How do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought the spell to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kuroa, was the Janet Ninja. The samurai spell costume with him. But the reason he was and there lies the sticking point. Objection! What are you mumbling to yourself about now? You've just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Huh? No, I just... Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nicholas Samurai spell costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nicholas Samurai spell costume to the hotel was... Take that! What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nicholas Samurai was going to hold a special press conference. Press conference? Yes, the Nicholas Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference. I've heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, right? But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Ongard himself said he had no idea he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night. Be. The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than the victim, Mr. Juan Corrida himself. The victim? Yes. The spell Nicholas Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Corrida was going to hold the press conference as the Nicholas Samurai. He's going to dress up as Nicholas Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. Samurai was going to confess something. By confess, I'd wager he was going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Corrida, posing as a Nicholas Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Ongard. Yes, I guess that is what it would mean. But if that's the case, it's not a confession, that's a public disclosure. Miss Andrews? I can see why you are pros at what you do. Pardon me? Yes, that's what you said. The press conference was set up by Juan. Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this. I was when he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the German Ninja this year. If he lost the Grand Prix, he He was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway. He was going to ruin him, huh? It looks like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that he destroyed Matt's active will had been revealed. What? You know what the secret of Master Unguards is, Miss Andrews? That's something only one knew. I don't know what it is. I see. I've been coming off quite suspicious to everyone. That's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all. Protect Mr. Unguard. And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior. Yes, Your Honor, I understand. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. I had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were composed of evidence, of course, the button and the knife. I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. This does account for everything. Well, I am the logical type. We're finally seeing her true self. She is more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Hardly call the knife decisive evidence. Fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. The button. This button, correct? Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. Stand aside, man. Can't please fix up his defeat. So look at me. Nice to stare, yes. Mr. White said, please add this information to your testimony. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf. Strangulation? The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button had the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off on the costume when? After the knife was stabbed into the victim. Exactly, which means... Is it possible that this button was turned off during the victim's final struggle? Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight! Ah! That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body! Order! What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off from the body after the victim had already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Arthur. Why was the button turned off? What purpose did that serve? What purpose? We now know that this button was not turned off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it? Mr. White, does this mean that you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it? There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Unguard. There's no way anyone would put a bloodied button in their own pants. That's right, Mr. Unguard was set up. And a real killer, of course. And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, what is the real killer then? Down yet. To the very end. The real killer, the person who plans to frame Mr. Unguard is... Take that! Miss Adrian Andrews! I choose you! You are Mr. Cordora's killer! What? Order! 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 Mr. Wright! This is a thing you ain't not. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge? Any evidence? All the evidence points to Miss Andrews! How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me! I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then, what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. Unguard, naturally. The knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only be taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you! Then? What? What about the button that was found in Matt's Hakama? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only people who could have done so were the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Unguard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence in his own Hakama. Ah! The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Unguard's Hakama, the person who went to waste it, which is you yet again, Mr. Andrews. See, what about the empty guitar case? There's also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. The costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known that there was just such a costume inside the guitar case? I have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And this person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews. No, Objection! Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case. And it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, we would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any traces, you need to tell us something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. Miss Andrews profusely left her fingerprints on the grass so that, yes, indeed, she was the classic date discoverer of a dead body. Ah! And to top it all off, there was this photo. A photo of the killer as they exit the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on earth can believe this Nicholas Samuel is Mr. Ungard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. How tall people are. Miss Andrews, you are some kind of short and stature, are you not? Please, stop. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? Got her this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Yes, you are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. What? Stating the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ungard's room. Adrian Andrews! Yes? Let's talk about what we just discussed. Understood? Alright. So told Miss Andrews to not testify if things looked bad. Good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. There's still one thing you haven't done. All right. It's all right. So humorous, Miss Andrews. I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Circumstantial? Circumstantial. I've yet to provide a single piece of the fight true. Very good. Proof that Mr. Andrews did in fact harbor wish to murder Mr. Kodora. Coretta. I'm mispronouncing it now, great. Mr. Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Coretta? I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Mr. Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, maybe not. There's nothing to prove it either way. Besides, I don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No, she's taking that defiant attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow, we've landed in the worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has yet not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true. In this situation, there is only one thing this court can do. That is to declare a recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter at tomorrow's trial. Tomorrow? We don't have a tomorrow. If you don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... Please wait, Your Honor! That's not necessary! The trial! Please continue the trial! What are you sweating for? The client's getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it! This isn't about that! Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is! Please, let the trial continue! If I don't get the verdict, then Maya... It's impossible to continue as long as testify. Now then, this court is...
Objection!
It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, the topic of conversation was something unrelated to what I was to make guilty. She has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews. When you found the book, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and... I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body, they're saying, not throwing a glass of juice. My actions were unusual, but I've already... Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again. As to what happened once he first discovered the victim's body. What we find out in this testimony should be in no way implicate the witness. I don't know what it is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off of him. Is he friend or foe? I just don't know. The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. A glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I'm surprised my walking through the room was in that messy state. And what? He was sitting so tired looking in the corner. I saw him sitting like that. He thought that he was... I saw him sitting like that. The thought that he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, maybe I just did or something. So I went to pour him some juice. I realized that he was dead. That's when I knocked the flower vase over. So you poured the glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, then there's nothing left. I know. Edgeworth, what the heck is going on in that brain of yours? Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
Objection!
So you honestly didn't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? Ah! What is the meaning of this? Is it obvious, Your Honor? There's a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Coriona's chest. Anyone who saw the scene would have immediately thought that there was a dead man. Here was a dead man. That's, well, you see, I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And it's so not so long as you go pouring something to drink. Is Miss Andrews. The testimony just now, it was all one giant lie. Ah! And your lie has proven one thing very clear. You are the real killer. No! I'm not doing the whole no thing. Nope. Looks like the defense has somehow brought every truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt Underdog, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. It wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. You were the one who refused to testify. The reason for not doing so is that you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. What exactly are you hiding that may incriminate you? I refuse to testify. And there's no need for this court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Ungod's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Is it over? Have we found the truth at last? Swan Phoenix. Usually. Well, usually the real killer confesses his or her guilt. And now that I think about it, this is the first time someone hasn't. Now then, I would like to hand down my verdict for Mr. Matt Ungod.
Objection!
Your Honor, the prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass on a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. The absolute real truth? What are you? Witness, don't you understand yet? Huh? I don't know who planted the silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through your silence, Matt Ungod will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told I spoke that it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What is he talking about? Has he lost it? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. Francisco Von Palma. Huh? Remember Phoenix? This Andrews is like looking tightly onto the words of another. Guess he doesn't have enough strength to believe in herself. Then, right now, Miss Andrews is... I feel like Miss Von Palma. No matter what happens, you and Matt Ungod will be equipped. Miss Andrews undoubtedly right now is clinging on to them. Then what should we do? What's up a miracle across anything like this? Miss Andrews has to be the killer, right? All we have to do now is, I'm guilty. That's my one priority. Was it me? I'm begging you, please believe me. I didn't kill Juan. Oh, please, someone help me. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. I intend to do? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to say? Right. Just you think very carefully about this. Think about what this witness did and what he did not do. Think about who is the real mastermind behind this crime. The mastermind? Isn't that obvious? No one else could be except the woman pointing over there, right? Come now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Today. There's no way around that. But I can't bring myself to do it like this. Not once he's making a face like that. Miss Andrews, I would like to know what you are really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure you know what you're doing? Sir, Mr. Ungod would get an acquittal, but in his place you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want this trial to end? Be quiet. How dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is the truth. You're wrong. What a shame. I had hoped things wouldn't come to this. However, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop! Mr. Edgeworth? This witness! How should I put this? She has an illness. What? And because of that illness, she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Stop! Please stop! No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here! That's... part of the suicide report. The attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to the court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. Secret of her independent nature. Please stop, I beg you. People find out. How? If you're going to say you would choose death, that is of no concern. That's what. How can you be so cold? However, before you die, I'll pour the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please help me. Nothing matters anymore. I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted. Honest. When I realized he was dead, that was when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure that there was no one in the hallway, I made a dash back to match room. Then, I snapped Ron's dead body with the knife and whipped off the button. Just when I finished it, was returned to match room, I had a bit of an inconvenience. And that's why I ended up using my neighbor's samurai costume. Stab the body with the knife? But why would you do that? Isn't it obvious? Pin the blame on a certain person. A certain cowardly man. What do you mean by all this? It might take this court a little while to understand, but... this is the truth. The real killer is Matt. That scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. Last time. So, Miss Andrews stabbed the victim Juan Quita in the chest with the knife. However, she didn't do it with the murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Matt on guard for the murder. And this is her crime. What? How is this possible? I mean, wasn't Miss Andrews supposed to be the real murderer? Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination.
Hold it!
But you could tell from the state the room was in that there must have been a fight. Are you telling the truth when you say that you did not know he was dead? The scarf tied around his neck. That scarf is a part of his costume, so I didn't think anything about it. It was strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face that well. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour the juice.
Hold it!
What is this plan you had? I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because one, he was going to expose Matt's weak point to the ward. So Matt did this to stop one and silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence and pin this crime on Matt. So the forged pieces of evidence were the knife and the button. The first thing that came to mind was to plant the knife.
Hold it!
That was so you could get the knife, correct? The knife Matt used at dinner had his fingerprints all over it. I thought if I used that, then the police would surely turn their eyes towards him. Matt was napping with his costume on at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the scene of the crime.
Hold it!
So you were the one to stab the victim with the knife. It gives me goosebumps to think about it now. What a horrible thing I did. But if the the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. Then, when I stabbed Juan's dead body, I suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspect. So he thought to whip one of the buttons off and then planted in Mr. Ungod's Hakama. Yes, that's what I had planned to do. But things never got that smooth with you.
Hold it!
An inconvenience? There were a woman with a camera at the wedding loitering in the hallway. Willing to bet my specs, it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun at the ready, pacing back and forth. That's Mrs. Orbach for you. I had already been caught and made into a big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself and get caught again.
Hold it!
You were the one who prepared that costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from Global Studios. I also put it into Juan's guitar case today before the award ceremony. You did this in preparation for the press conference, correct? Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference in it. He was going to disclose Matt's biggest secret there. What is the secret? That, I don't know. Anyway, I thought that if I were to leave Juan in the Nickel Samurai costume, then people would think that Matt was the real murderer. I was very careful not to leave anything before I opened the guitar case. I absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Ungod's room and planted the button. Into Matt's Hakama? Yeah. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Ungod. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Francisca, huh? She said that I should under no circumstances confess to what I had done. If I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor! The defense still... Right. It's pointless. At this point in time, it is not possible to indict Mr. Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as the murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is today's trial. We can establish that witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But... Mr. Edgeworth, please place Mr. Andrews under arrest for further questioning. Understood, Your Honor. The prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Today's trial, it's over, and I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? Edgeworth? What is it? Before you leave court today, I wondered if I might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time now. What exactly is it? Oh, this? Mr. Wright also asked about this. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright. I remember just now I found this in the room on that day. The room? That day? Yes. I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was laying there right next to him. You found that card next to the victim's body? I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped into my pocket. But it's not as if this card had any relevance to Juan's murder, right? Yeah, I guess not. But it's still a strange card if you ask me. But as far as it's a clue to this case, I don't see why. Hold it! Witness! That card! Give it to me! Now hurry! Edgeworth? You have any idea what you have stupidly yet invertibly done?